Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? Do you know that, like the nature has given us seasons, we also have seasons in parenting. Parenting में भी मौसम होता है ऐसा आपने सुना नहीं होगा. But today I'm going to talk about this only. Hi, my name is Alok. I'm father of two boys, 9 trees, husband to one of the most beautiful princes of the world. I'm an engineer, an MBA, an entrepreneur, traveler, author, blogger, podcaster, and a parenting expert for more than a decade. And I'm here helping all you parents bring the best versions of their children. दोस्तों पेरेंट्स मैं आपसे सीजन्स के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. मैं आज बात करने वाला हूं सीजन्स ऑफ पेरेंटिंग. सो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय सीजन्स ऑफ पेरेंटिंग? मैं एक संस्कृत का श्लोक है जो आपने भी सुना होगा, बच्चों के बारे में है और अगेन पेरेंटिंग से रिलेटेड है, जो कुछ इस तरह से है. लालियत पंचवर्षानि लालियत पंचवर्षानि दर्शवर्षानि ताड़येत प्राप्ते तु षोडशे वर्षे पुत्रम मित्र वदाचरित. जिसका मतलब होता है लालियत पंचवर्षानी मतलब 5 वर्ष तक लालन पालन करना चाहिए. 10 वर्ष तक ताड़ियत मतलब पीटना चाहिए. पीटने का मतलब उसको कुछ रूल सिखाने चाहिए. दे हैव टू बी इनटू स्ट्रिक्ट गाइडेंस. अन प्राप्ते तु षोडशे वर्षे, षोडशे मतलब 16. जैसे बच्चा आपका 16 साल का होता है, पुत्रम मित्र वदाचरित, मित्रवत आचरित मतलब जैसे बच्चा आपका 16 साल का हो जाता है उसको आपके फ्रेंड के हिसाब से ट्रीट करना चाहिए. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव लर्न. हमारे शास्त्रों में और संस्कृत के श्लोक में बहुत पहले से सिखाया गया है. उसी चीज को मैं सीजन्स के तौर पे आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि पेरेंटिंग इज अगेन अ मिक्स ऑफ डिफरेंट सीजन्स. ये सीजन्स क्या क्या हैं? वो 4 सीजन्स जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ वही 4 सीजन्स जो संस्कृत के शब्दों में हैं. उसका यदि मैं इन शॉर्ट बताऊं, हेडिंग बताऊं, तो द फर्स्ट सीजन इज सीजन ऑफ सर्विस. सेकंड सीजन इज सीजन ऑफ leadership and authority. The third season is season of monitoring and mentoring, and the fourth season is season of friendship. तो कहीं ना कहीं उस संस्कृत के श्लोक को ही इन 4 डिविजन्स में बताया गया है और मैं आज वही आपके सामने बात कर रहा हूं, वही आपको एक्सप्लेन करने वाला हूं. दिस इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक. जब मैं पढ़ता रहता हूं और जब मैंने ये आर्टिकल पढ़ा, मैं कई सारे आर्टिकल पढ़ के फिर एक एपिसोड बनाता हूं, तो मुझे लगा कि यस, दिस इज अ मैटर, दिस इज अ टॉपिक विच नीड्स टू बी डिस्कस्ड. सो लेट मी टॉक अबाउट इट. तो मैंने कुछ पॉइंटर्स बनाए और मैंने सोचा कि व्हाई नॉट आई गो लाइव ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक एंड आई टॉक अबाउट द सीजन्स ऑफ पेरेंटिंग. थैंक यू अद्वितीय एंड थैंक यू अनामिका. लेट्स गो. So when I talk about seasons of parenting, like farming, like gathering any kind of a syrup, maple syrup या honeycomb, कुछ भी सबका एक season होता है. And the migration of fish and birds, everything has a time. Similarly, the raising of our children is also marked by seasons. So these seasons are established by God. It's not by human being. Therefore, we cannot alter them by our whims and fancies, right? So there is a time for everything and a season to every activity in this world. This I firmly believe, and this is not what I have told this. This is a statement which is proved and it is there for long, right? So there is a season for every activity. Now let's move forward, saying that each of these activities are defined in a chronological manner. Similarly, like Earth has given us seasons, and these seasons require what? Every activity to be done as per the timing. Nahin? Now I'll tell you that a farmer has a unique set of tasks to be done. Similarly, each parenting season also requires a specific parenting role and a distinct parental responsibilities. That is what I mean by seasons of parenting, right? So, a farmer who confirms his behavior to be the unique characteristic of each of the agriculture season is all but assured a high yield. So, if a farmer is aware of the seasons and the activities as per the season, definitely is going to produce more. So, cultivation is again a pattern of doing several things to get a better results. So let's start with the different seasons. The number one season, as I told you, is the season of service. Thank you, Nominator. The season of service. So the first of this four season is the season of service, which begins at the birth and lasts approximately 2 years. During this initial season, parents function as servants to the child who cannot save himself and cannot anticipate the consequences of his actions. Right? बच्चे को पता ही नहीं होता 2 साल में उसको करना क्या है. So parents serve as a servant. So the child's dependency and ignorance require that his parents place him at the center of their attention and orbit around him in a near constant ministry of surveillance and doing. That means checking, feeding, carrying, changing, confirming, fixing, fetching, and so on and so forth. So there are so many activities around which you have to do your services, right? So the purpose of the season one, the season of service, are threefolds. Number one, to root the child securely in this world, because you have brought them into this world. They don't know anything about it and they're not capable of doing anything on their own. So to assure him or her that he or she is where he belongs, with people who love him and who will take good and proper care of him under any and all circumstances. Number two is to provide for the child's fundamental biological needs. Put bluntly, I would say to keep him alive and thriving. When I say biological needs, you have to keep on taking care of all those things which keep him alive and thriving. Number three is to prevent as much as humanly possible the child from hurting himself, right? So in all cultures and in all times, the mother has been and is the primary servant during season one, right? And obviously there are exceptions. I'm not denying those exceptions, but primarily because nature has given the authority to mothers to give birth to the child, right? So they are the primary servant. And the father, even one who wants to be highly involved, stands slightly outside the periphery of his wife's busy orbiting. So the husband is her parenting aid. Like a teacher's aid, the husband's job is to assist his wife and fill in for her when she needs a break. So consequent to this child centeredness, the marriage is a catch as catch can during season one. So you both are responsible for the children's well-being, right? So I would say, as I initially also told, there is a time. So maybe the father and the mother both are having equal responsibilities, but nature has given mother a better edge to take care, and that is how we all human beings are segregated, right? Now, as an infant or a young toddler, even they may not being well developed having a language skills, because if the parents are not properly talking to them, not trying to teach them the language which they're speaking, it times becomes difficult for the children, for the child to start speaking, right? So nonetheless, every child is intelligent enough, but he's drawing inarticulate conclusions concerning the working of the things in the microcosm, right? So one of which is what is the mother is there to do his bidding, and that has the power and authority over her. So the child, when the child cries, he realizes and verifies that there is somebody called a mother who is going to take care of her, right? Similarly, there are other people, the father, the grandma, the brother and sister, they all have some kind of a affinity to the child, and they do have their different responsibilities to do that. Okay, so whatever we are doing into this particular season, we are just working as a servant. So don't feel bad about being called a servant, because these are the seasons how it has been defined, right? Okay, now let's move towards the next season, which is the season of leadership and authority. So, as is so often the case when season change, the transitional year is marked by storms of protest from a child who wants season one to go on forever, because everybody wants some, everybody wants that things should go on, right? But at this point of time, your child wants to let go the things they were going earlier, but now is the time to tell him how authority can be established, how he can learn or she can learn different things. So who can blame a child who wants everything to go normal the way it was going, right? Who would not want to be served throughout their life with a servant? Everybody wants, right? But if the mother stays the course, then by the time her child has reached his third birthday, he or she will see her with new eyes. Once a servant, now becomes a formidable authority figure who is not to be trifled with, right? Now the mother and the father becomes, they are now into a different role altogether. The season has changed. Now you are teaching your child to be some kind of a different personality, right? So now the mother insists that the child should be doing more and more things for himself, right? So now she is at the center of his, right? Center of all these activities. Now, when this season of leadership and authority begins, the, at this time, the parent's job is to govern the child in such a way that number one, the consents to their government, right? And this is what you are going to tell them to be disciplined. Now, second is internalize their discipline and gradually develop the self restraint necessary to govern himself possibility, right? So there is not to say that parents should never serve a child who is in season 2. There will, and in fact, be times when service is absolutely necessary. But whereas service is the rule in season 1, it should be the exception from that time on. So service 2, the season 2 is not for the service part. It has to be the part wherein you are teaching some different course of action, and that is in terms of creating leadership and authority for yourself and discipline for your child to learn new things, right? Now let's move forward to the next season, which is the season of mentoring. So season 2 lasts for around 10 years from 3 to 13, at which point a second transition takes place that moves parent and child into season 3. So this is called the season of mentoring, and it is no coincidence that in traditional cultures, early adolescence rites of passage, Jewish bar, and there are so many other things occur when a child is 13. Even if I talk about the teenage has now shrunk from, I would not say 13, it has shrunk from 9 or 10 even, right? So at this time, this children acknowledge that, the parents also acknowledge that the child in question has completed the disciplinary curriculum of season 2 and is now regarded as self governing. The child has to be self governing in this particular stage, and he or she no longer needs adults to tell him what and what not to do. So they should be logically understanding the activities what they need to do and what they need not to, right? So at this time, uh, there is no need to, the adults to mentor people, the child, to help him acquire the practical skills. Rather than they'll be doing it on their own, because now they understand things on their own. They are responsible enough to do and take decisions. Obviously you have to be aside of your children, but let them be, you know doing that. You are there to monitor and obviously mentor. So this season is called mentoring and monitoring. And the last season is the season of friendship, wherein this successful encompassation of this child marks the end of season 3, the last season of active parenting, and the beginning of season 4, the season of friendship. So now your child has grown to that level wherein you can talk to them in terms of being a friend, because now they are capable of taking decisions. They know what is good, what is bad, they know what is wrong, what is right, right? So here the parent, it's not only that in the biological sense they have grown up, they are also grown up mentally and physically, right? So parents and child now regard one another as peers. So the younger peer may seek guidance from one or both of the older peers, but that is no different from one friend seeking the counsel of another. So in season 3, guidance was provided largely at the parents initiative. Now guidance is provided largely at the initiative of the biological child. If they want, they'll be taking guidance. So within this framework, all the things are being taught, and I believe once you understand this particular seasons of parenting, जो संस्कृत में भी मैंने बोला आपको, यही 4 सीजन्स होते हैं. इन चारों सीजन को समझ करके यदि आप अपने बच्चे के साथ लालन पालन पोषण डिसिप्लिन सब कुछ सिखाते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली as season suggests, you have to do certain activities which is prevailing and relevant in that particular season. That is how you're going to yield more, the productivity is going to be more. That's all in this season for this episode. Looking forward to see you in my another topic. Thank you. Bye bye.